Hello, literature lovers. Today, as you can see, I'm discussing the world literary periods, and it's quite clear. And starting from the early periods, that starts from these periods are spans of time in which literature shared intellectual, linguistic, religion, and artistic influences. And in the Western tradition, the early periods of literary history are roughly as follows below. Firstly, the classical period, that is 1200 BC to 455, and it is Homeric or the heroic period, that is 1200 to 800. Then comes the classical Greek period, which is 800 to 200, and then comes 200 to the classical Roman period, starting from 200 to 455, and that is next comes the patristic period, that is 70 to 455. Next, what comes is the medieval period, starting from 455 to 1485, and the first one is the Old English, that is the Anglo-Saxon period, 428 to 1066. It's also called the Dark Ages. And the next is the Middle English period, 1066 to 1450. And the next is also called the Late or the High Medieval period, that is 1200 to 1485. And the next section would be called the Renaissance or the Reformation, starting from 1485 to 1660, and it can be divided into the early Tudor period, that is 1485 to 1558, and it's so important because the War of Roses ended. Next comes the Elizabethton period, that is 1558 to 1603. Next is the Jacobean period, in 1603 to 1625. The Caroline Age is from 1625 to 1649, and the writers are there. Commonwealth period, or we can also say the Puritan period, is 1649 to 1660. Later, the periods can be divided as follows, starting with the Enlightenment, that is the neoclassical period, 1660 to 1790. And first of all, it starts with the Restoration period, 1660 to 1700s. Next comes the Augustan Age, that is 1700 to 1750. And Age of Johnson, that is 1750 to 1790. Talking about the Romantic period, which spans from 1790 to 1830. And next comes the Victorian Age, that is 19th century, starting from 1832 to 1901. Modern period spans from 1914 to 1945. And from the last one, it's the postmodern period, that is from 1945 and continues till now. And talking about the other age, that is the American periods, starting with the Native American, and which is more of a mythological one. And the Puritan age from there starts with 1472 to 1750. The Enlightenment and the Revolutionary one is from 1750 to 1800s. Their Romanticism started in 1800s and ended 1840. And it can be divided into the Transcendentalism, that is 1840 to 1855. And next is the Gothic work, that is also important. Realism started from 1865 to 1915. Next comes the Naturalism and religious, it's all part of it. Sorry, a bit mess up. And here the Naturalism and realism is part of it. The Modernism we started with 1915 to 1946, and later on we can say it's Imagism, that is started with 1912 to 1927, and Harlem Renaissance is also important. It's part of 1920s. Talking about the contemporary, that is Now Age, which has started in 1946 and it's continued with the present. and that's all we can talk about today. That's the contemporary one, and the authors are given, and these are the postmodern authors. All of them are clearly mentioned here. I hope you will get an overall picture. Thanks.